Good evening and welcome to the Whiskey Lovers Society with me, Gert Retief, and tonight a little bit of a Jack Daniels, a Scotch drinker venturing to the US and drinking some more Jack Daniels. Now, Jack Daniels is something that you can buy everywhere. If even in Belgium, if I go online onto the whiskey websites, they have numerous bottles, loads and loads of them. And sometimes I like to just reset the palate, drinking something a little bit different, creating some new memories, some new smells in the brain. And of course, it helps also to train the palate and to train the nose to identify new things. Now, I've made quite a number of videos on Jack Daniels. Quite like them. The old barrel number 7, I think I'm saying it right. Not a big connoisseur when it comes to Jack Daniels. But some time ago, my son picked up the barrel proof, the 100 barrel proof. I loved it. In South Africa, a company called Baines Whisky. They also make a whiskey made from South African corn and matured in ex-Pedro Ximénez cask and bourbon cask. And so they make an effort to create something in a bourbon type of notes. And I've, over the last 2 years, I do like the whiskies that they are producing. So tonight it is the single barrel select and 94 proof, 45% ABV. We talk about ABV, not proof. And so my opinion, we opinion on, of course, Jack Daniels and this whiskey that they have created. Now, not going to be a long video. As you can see, I'm not home. Hotel lights are normally bloody. It's impossible to make a good quality video. So hopefully the camera will do the trick in this low lighting. One of the lights was flickering on and off, so I had to switch that one off as well. Of course, I'm not going to have a proper glass. I'm lucky that I did have a glass on offer, so a little bit of a wine glass going. So color wise, it is of course corn base and with a little bit of a rye component. Not have a lot of information. I know some of my subscribers can give me a little bit of background information on it, and you know, for me it's about the nosing and the tasting. Is it something that I like? Is it something that I would buy again? Is it something that I like to share with my friends and colleagues? And yeah, this is not really the history channel, and I'm 100% sure my Americans friends are telling me you're buying something that's run of the mill. We don't even touch that stuff anymore. But you know, when you're in Europe, finding really good bourbon is impossible. You're going to find a couple of brands that will bring something into Europe. Some specialist shops will have some type of bourbons available, but finding it's almost impossible. So we buy what we can find, and of course, if we can find something that's a little bit different, I'm on it like a flash. And well, let's give it a go. My opinion, a whiskey without the E Lover Society, drinking a little bit of a taste of America. Although, yeah, I'm not going to go into deep. So, cheers. Color-wise, as you can see, it is a lovely color. Lovely dark color. If I would see something like this in a Scotch, and I see a color like that, I'm thinking aged, or there's a lot of color added to it. I'm sure, well, you guys don't do those things. The Scotch and a lot of the whiskey without the E will add some color to it. Stupid idea, but of course there's nothing that we can do about it. They will never stop adding color to the whiskey. So this one on the nose. Now, I do love it. It is the richness of it, that is so appealing for me. That darkness, that dark fruit component, there's that, it's almost for me, if it wasn't for that corn influence, that sweetness of the corn, there's no mistaking that. If you put a bourbon, any bourbon in front of a Scotch drinker, they will immediately say there's nothing Scotch in this whiskey. But I do like it. Now, I've got that sweet tooth. I do like a sweet whiskey. But this one is definitely ticking that box for me. That 45% ABV, even if I do a little bit of an agitation and I stick my nose in it, there's a spiciness to it. That alcohol, 45%, I would venture, if I had a blind tasting, I would think maybe 42% maximum. So even with that agitation, it's not kicking you in the nose, but it is lovely sweet. That corn note is there, that there's a little oakiness. There's a little bit of a dusty oaky note that I pick up. And if it settles down in the glass, and you, well, I need to stop shaking the bloody thing, you get a nice perfumey note as well. A little bit of a furniture polish note. So pleasant on the nose. On the taste, cheers. Now this is the surprising part for me. The taste, it's lovely, but it is a little bit more spicy from nose to taste. I did not expect it to be a little I did not expect it to be so spicy. There's an oakiness to it, which is also a little bit surprised. There's definitely a tannin or two kicking in. It brings a little bit of a bitter note to it. Age, I've no idea of this one. Let me just try again. Oh, but it is lovely. And I think I will put a little bit of water in it. It feels a little bit sharp to me, a little bit of a rough edge to it. And I think a little bit of water just calms it. I think it will just calm it down a little bit, just to take that little bit of an edge off. 45% in a Scotch, I would not add water to it, definitely not. I tend to add more than 50%, I will add a drop or two of water. But this one feels to me that it needs a drop or two of water, just to calm the nerves on this one. There's definitely a sharpness to it that I'm not very comfortable with. And I think I'll put a little bit of water in it. Now, of course, no measuring tools. My trusty spoon droppers is not here. So, bottled water. I am not going to add a lot in. Literally, I'm going to put in maybe 4 or 5 drops, half a teaspoon. I think it was a little bit more than a teaspoon. So just to give it a little bit of a taste with water. It completely changed the nose. Not for the good. So might have added a little bit too much water in it. That loveliness, that deep, dark, rich flavors is definitely no longer there. It just ruined half of the sample. Maybe on the taste, well, there's a little orange note. A little maybe like dried orange segments that's got a little bit of a burnt caramelly toasty note to it on the taste. On the taste, definitely for me it's an improvement. That spiciness is toned down. That little bit of that bitter tannins is toned down. The sweetness is just perfect for me. And there's a nice balance between the sweetness and a little bit of that oakiness come in to balance it out for me. Quite pleasant. Is it a daily sipper? I'm not convinced about that. Let me just try one more time. It even gives a little bit of an oiliness to it when you add water. There's a spice is definitely still there. There's a nice heat going down. Well, it's 28 degrees here. It's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the evening, 28 degrees. Oh, it's a holiday. It's a celebration. So definitely a nice one, a pleasant one. It's not going to kill the budget. It's quite cheap as well. And I think it will also be great in a cocktail. I'm a cocktail man myself, so maybe a little bit of a cocktail would it be perfect. Definitely not something that I will suggest as a daily sipper, but let me know, all my American friends, is that a whiskey that from your side, is that something that you would think is a good whiskey? Is it something that you would recommend for your friends, especially your friends across the pond? Is that something that you say, if you want to try anything American, start with this one? Or am I completely wrong on this one? Or you might say, stay away from this one. But I would love to hear your opinion. So thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. We are ticking all the nice numbers, 1,566 subscribers. In no time we will reach 2,000. So see you next time. Cheers.